Gabriola Clam Diggers. We're down at Brickyard Beach for this episode of Straight Outta Gabriola, where I had a chance to meet up with Islanders Thomas Harding and Elizabeth Beale. If you wanted to find two individuals who are long and good life experienced masters at living simply and close to the land and sea, you'd be hard-pressed to find two better teachers. Over the years, Thomas and Elizabeth have made their homes on boats and cabins, tents and trailers, to name a few, and they enjoyed many years on a sailboat in these coastal waters, tucked into the bays and coves of the north coast of British Columbia. They've lived on Gabriola for over a decade now and are largely self-sufficient food growers and harvesters on just a little under half an acre of land, along with a plot at the community garden here. I spotted their truck down at Brickyard Beach and walked out to have a visit and help pick oysters and dig for clams. Now remember, harvest in the months with an R, get your license for harvesting shellfish, grab your grubber, your rubbers, boots, and a couple of buckets, and let's catch up with Thomas and Elizabeth. And what are we going after today now? What's the ones that...
This larger one here is a butter clam,
Okay.
and if we went really deep, we could get big butter clams.
Yeah.
But the smaller ones are what we mostly like, and they're...
Yeah, they're nice size for a...
It's a little neck or a manila.
Yeah.
The ones with designs on them we haven't got any yet today.
Right.
And this is one of the parts of the beach where it's kind of dark blue sand and harder to see them.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, look at that.
Oh yeah. Snake eyes on that. Just fun. Yeah, I remember when I'm digging, you get a surprising amount of those that are lovely. They're closed, and you open it up, and it's just a nice little package of sand.
Or mud.
Or mud. Yeah. Yeah, and this is always such a good bed, right?
You don't like digging here because right to your left boot a little bit, and one in front of your right boot.
Oh yeah, they're there.
The Sunemu people have the clam lease here.
Oh yeah.
And we don't mind taking oysters here because the oysters are an invasive species.
Right. Yeah.
They're not
Japanese oysters, right?
And look, you see, they just take over a clam bed.
Yeah.
It's so.
Yeah.
Luckily, we love oysters. It's our staple.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah.
No, I don't love oysters. They're my least favorite seafood. And here they are.
And here they are. Nothing but, yeah.
We used to regularly get crab. So we have a little thing that we can launch in the summer, but it has to be. Yeah. Crab and prawns were a staple when we first came to the island.
Right. Yeah, having the boat and being able to get
That's right.
out, right? Yeah.
And being a lot younger, we were pulling the prawn traps at 350 to 380 feet.
Wow.
With our arm. Yeah.
That's your workout, right? Pulling that up by hand.
It used to be you had to. They brought in, we were on the boat already up in Howe Sound for the winter and catching shrimp and catching crab.
Yeah.
Or prawns and crab.
Yeah.
And then they brought in a new regulation that you could actually use a mechanical puller.
Oh, yeah.
For sports.
Yeah.
And every marine shop sold a $1,000 special. It was 2 traps, which is what you were allowed, and enough line, and floats, and weights, and an electronic downrigger type,
right?
Type thing that could pull them. Yeah. By January that year, they had to close the sport prawn fishery. They were just devastated by everybody and their dogs were out and setting 4 traps because you're allowed 2 per person. So it really tailed off. That was enthusiasm, etc. But it's out here. It's really lovely, except that it's rough and it's rough bottom. So that helps to keep the numbers down. I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Yeah.
And for a couple of years, we had wonderful Dungeness crab, right in Silver Bay and in Degnan Bay.
Yeah.
And then commercial crabber came in.
Oh, really?
I think two winters running, and that was Now, and we haven't been out this winter to see if they're coming back.
Yeah.
But what a resource!
What a resource!
You know, I mean, we live on an island, and we're surrounded by food.
Yeah, it's the kitchen just down at a short walk away.
Well, you can see why the Sunamo people, why this was a winter village for them, because number one, sheltered and hidden away from the Tsimshians and Haidas up the coast and raiding it. But also, it's just so rich, you know. Yeah. The tide is I call it the lungs of the shore. It brings in the oxygen and the food, and it takes out the waste and everything. That's the tide. Yeah. But here, when the tide becomes a current, two different things, but currents caused by tide, you get even more food going through, even more oxygen going through, and
perfect for bivalves.
Oh, it really, yeah.
How many thousand years they figure there's been some kind of village presence here because of the middens are so deep along Alvarado there, right?
Oh, yeah. Back home with the Tsimshian people, well, I tell the story. I was at Strasbourg teaching in the summer school and came back, and it had been their 2000th anniversary. Of course, they were talking about a Roman fort across the river, but and I thought, gee, it'd be wonderful to live in a place 2,000 years. I came back, and what was then the Museum of Man had just finished their survey and spot digs in Metlakatla Pass, where we lived, and they had not quite reached 5,000 when they ran out of funds. 5,000 years, you know. And Namu hit just a high 9,000, and now I think they have older sites. This was when we were still on the boat.
Wow.
So that's pretty well back to the last glacier.
That's right. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah. Are these your buckets over here too?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's the oyster.
They're easy to pick up.
Yeah. What size do you go for oysters? Like a nice, you don't get them too big?
No, not too big. Yeah. Medium for a couple of recipes that we use, and then sometimes the smalls, because we make smoked oysters out of the smalls.
Yeah. Yeah, try a different part? Yeah. I can grab buckets and walk with you.
I usually like to go as low as I can, but maybe I'll try over here. Or has it turned?
Or has it turned?
The tide has turned. Yeah, the current turns.
Oh, yeah. Now that I look out,
But the current turns maybe often an hour ahead of the actual tide.
Okay.
Down in front of our place, the current can change because we swim there all the time. The current can change, but the tide will still come another inch or two up higher along the beach.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What do you think these guys are eating, Tom?
These are widgeons. And,
fishes?
Yeah, they're eating seaweed and mussels and all those little black, tiny black snails that are all over the place.
Yeah, that are hanging on to seaweed and everything.
Yeah.
That's one thing about low tide is there's so much activity. The different creatures come.
Mm-hmm. The other thing we get on this beach is seaweed. We get sea lettuce here. We don't take the kelp. We would take the kelp, but the kelp is pretty precious around here because of the log booms.
That's right.
So we make our kelp. We dry out our kelp and stuff. We used to make kelp chips all the time.
Oh yeah.
But now we just gather the fronds and dry them for kelp chips, and then they just grind up into powder for sprinkling on everything.
That's a nice little season.
Sea lettuce grinds up into powder too. Green label.
What do you think there, Elizabeth?
No, I haven't found a good spot, but so I'd probably have to go way over there. I could do that. I better keep 2 buckets.
Yeah, I'll carry one. Elizabeth, I'll come over with you. We'll just. I might as well. Good. Thanks, Thomas.
Brickyard over the chapters of history, and certainly the first peoples, they just lived.
Mm-hmm.
It was a huge brick-making facility.
Yeah, this was certainly, wasn't it? Yeah, and the bricks are still here.
And I think it's saying something about the kind of working conditions being good. And it was a good chapter of life for the island. This is different. It's a lighter shade of
Oh, yeah.
the other one's dark blue, and it has to do with the sand that it's.
Oh, you're getting some fun now. Oh, here we go. So what's your favorite recipes that you do with?
One favorite recipe is just to steam the clams and then dip them in some garlic butter.
Perfect.
And sometimes there's a big steaming ball and you really can't eat that many, and the next thing you know, it's a big pile of shells. And I really like chop. That's the other thing I
Yeah. Yeah, I've gotten onto a really good seafood stew that I make with clams and prawns when we get them, and I'm finding the secret to all of that is just really put a lot of wine in it.
That's a good secret.
It's so delicious. It's such a simple recipe, only about 3 or 4 ingredients, but the wine is key. Something that's perfect with seafood.
Yeah, that sounds. You're making me hungry.
Oh, look at that! That's a
yeah, I said, yeah, it's good.
That's a good one.
These are probably, a lot of them are the butter clams, which they can get really big, pretty tough. Yeah,
right.
I've got a bunch here. But then chopped up in chowder, they're okay. They take a bit of cooking. At one time I lived in Egmont.
Where's that?
It's a little village or town that is at the beginning of Seashell Inlet.
Okay.
And if you go all the way up Seashell Inlet, you end up in Seashell. Yeah, so we had a place on the beach, and you could walk into the town of Egmont in about 45 minutes on the trail, or you could row about half an hour. But that was we were pretty simple living in those days, and clams and oysters were. I never got hungry.
Yeah.
It wasn't everybody's favorite for all the time,
At this time of the year, and there's a period in the fall when we get good daytime low tides.
Yeah.
When we were young and foolish, it didn't matter. We would go for the real low ones at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now not doing that anymore.
Well, we did it when we were on the boat. It was such a romantic thing, going out in the middle of the night with a headlamp and on your knees and all cold and red. That one time with my son, and you guys were digging clams in a hole at Secret Cove, right? Is that where you were?
No, it was smugglers.
Smuggler Cove, yeah.
In our underwear.
Yeah, and it was January.
And you and the youngest were up on the cliff lighting a fire.
Yeah, right in the rain.
And we were floating a rum bottle around in this little tidal pool. What were you up to?
Yeah, right. Oh,
and then Cosmo said, I really don't like clams, but it's sure good to gather your own food. This is the summer. Yeah.
Oh, it's perfect.
I think it was right on, yeah.
Let's set that down.
We take the clams home and put them in water with a bit of oatmeal. Yeah, they suck it in, of course.
Yeah.
And I guess there's something in the oatmeal that they don't like, and they spit.
It's really cleaning themselves out. Eh?
Yeah.
that way a bit.
Okay.
Because,
I'm just fiddling.
is that all
around
I've
here.
got? Oh, those are yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had Thomas talking too much. So he's derelict in his...
I wasn't even coming today.
I'm your host, Ken Gurr. Thank you for listening, and please share us around on your social network. Bye for now.